Hey y'all, so I'm going to be showing you how to go from a Evo X hair base to Genus using Blender. So right now you want to get your PNG Evo X hair base and just put a color up under it, just a flat color, anything other than white. I'm going to show you why later. Okay, so we in Blender now, right? So the first thing we're going to be doing is taking it from, you want to duplicate the Genus head because we're going to be putting the Leluca onto the Genus head. So we're going to double the Genus head, right? Probably don't see it here, but I press Shift D, which copy the Genus head. So in this, we considered the Leluca high poly and the Genus is low poly. So first thing you want to do is get rid of the texture that's on the Genus head and only texture the Leluca head to the the PNG we just made earlier. So that's what I just did there. We're going to be doing something called a cage method, which is the point of duplicating the Genus head. So yeah. So I'm trying to show y'all right here how you can duplicate it, but if you press Shift D, it'll duplicate the head anyway. So since we put in Leluca onto Genus, we're duplicating the Genus head because it's gonna be act as the cage, which you'll understand why later. So after we align everything up, we just gotta align it all up right now because it's gonna texture bake basically. So yeah, so you go ahead and rename one of your Genus heads cage. Then you put it over the top. Try to align it as good as possible. Then we're gonna go to edit mode. You can just press tab or go in the left corner and click it. Okay, so we're gonna hold down Alt S because the point is we need to make the cage bigger than the it needs to fully cover the Leluca and Genus head. Like there should be nothing peeking outside of it. So look carefully. It's gonna be very important. Okay. Yeah, it's the difference between the cage and the actual heads. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the UV editing screen. I'm just gonna split the screen into two split sections so I can show you both two things that's going on. Because we're making a new shader and we're gonna be making a new UV for the low poly, aka the Genus head. So first you wanna go to that shader. Okay, and then you go ahead and make a new texture. This is going to be a new texture for the Leluca's texture is going to bake on. It's for the Genus, so it's going to make a new map. So we're just going to call this one Leluca Diffuse because that's what the Leluca texture is going to bake onto. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna click on, okay, so I made a mistake there, but everything you just did for the last one, I meant to say that you were supposed to do it while on the low poly, while clicking on the low poly Genus mesh head. So basically that's the only steps you have to do right there. Make sure you change the name of the texture material name at the top. add a new texture. Go ahead and pick the texture that you just made, called the Leluca Diffuse. Now you're going to choose the Leluca head, and then you just put the texture in for that one. But you should already have it if you had put the texture in the beginning. For the cage, it doesn't need any texture, so just go in Materials tab and just get rid of it. Okay, for this step, you want to click on the Leluca head, and then you want to shift click the genus head next. It's important that you choose the Leluca head first. And make sure your cage is turned on. Your cage layer is turned on. Then we're going to go to the baking panel. Make sure you follow these exact settings or it won't turn out right. Yep, make sure you choose your cage object, which is the cage we made earlier, which was why we had to make sure it's turned on. Yep, make sure the layer's turned on. I'm going to change the ray distance to 1.0 just so it can make sure it reaches everything when it bakes. Then you can just press the bake. Now it's going to load at the bottom. Okay, so this is a mistake here. As you can see, it didn't even do anything. Right, because I forgot to actually turn on. So when you make the Leluca map, make sure you connect the dot to the base color thing so it can actually apply. And after you had that applied already, after it's already connected, then you should be able to bake again, and it should be able to actually come up on the genus map this time. And there you go. Look at it, it baked. Now I will say there is going to be some overlapping, probably because I made the cage a little bit too big, but I just wanted to make sure it went over everything. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Leluca on the left, genus on the right. That's what it looks like. Kind of covering over the ears, but that's a simple fix if you like know how to use Photoshop or GIMP or anything. So let me show you how we're gonna export the texture. So if you go into your UV editing panel, you can see that if you go to image, you can save it as something, and then it'll save to your desktop. So I opened up GIMP here, right, because I feel like it has the easiest way to get rid of, make things transparent. PNG. So I just use the color alpha thing, choose the green. I see that you see that it's purple now, but don't worry about that because I'm gonna show you the next step. So I took it back in Photoshop and I just went to hue and saturation and turned the saturation all the way down to 0 so it's gray. This works better for like if the hair texture is black and white. Okay. After we save it, let's test it out. So this is what it looks like on my genus avatar, my genus head. So it works. Yes. Like I said, there's some overlapping on the ear, but with good editing, you can fix that.